I want to talk to you today about growing spring greens, lettuce, spinach, beets, things like that. I'm going to show you how to plant them and how to grow them and how to have a worry-free crop. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is these are cool season crops. I've got some seed here in my pocket, and I've got some lettuce, and I've got some spinach. And these things don't like to either germinate or grow in temperatures that are over 80 degrees. So you want to plant them in the spring for your best crop. You can also plant them in the fall. Now you're going to have trouble in the fall because you're going to have a lot more weeds, but you can grow them. But this is the spring, and I'm going to show you some tricks to getting a good stand of your spring greens. Now I like to use raised beds. That's what I've got down here. And I've bedded this up some time back, and I'm just going to kind of fluff it up. I've got some weeds coming up, and see, this is this nice dark soil, which I've added organic matter to over the years, and I'm going to fluff it up. And it's got good, what we call good tilth, which means it breaks up really well. Actually, it rained here last night. If this were red clay, we wouldn't be doing this. And once I fluff it up, then I'm going to take a garden rake and I'm going to smooth it out, because the trick to having these small seeded crops germinate and grow properly is to get good soil to seed contact. So I'm trying to break these clods up and smooth it out like this, and I'm getting where I want to go now. I got some clods because, again, it rained last night, but because I've got really high organic matter, I've got pretty good soil structure here, and again, what we call good tilth. Now, I get my seed out. Now the question is, how much seed do you put out? And if you put too little, then you're not going to get much of a stand. I like to plant it a little heavy. I can always thin it out later. But if the plants aren't there, what do you have? You have nothing. So we take this seed pack, and it's not exactly rocket science. I'm going to take it, and hopefully the wind's not blowing, and we just kind of let them fall out there. You see them going down, and we shake them out and we spread them out. This is fairly thick, and we get a good little covering of seed, and that's what we do. Now that's lettuce. Now I've also got some spinach in here, and spinach is a larger seed, a little heavier, and I'm going to actually put that in my hand, and you can see these are larger seed, and we're going to take those and we're going to, as they say in the old days, sow them. Now I always have trouble with spinach coming up, so I'm going to sow it really thick because I know that my seed germination is not going to be so great. Now what you want to do now is, we've got the seed out here, we want to cover this seed up. Now how do you cover up really small seed like that without burying it? Because you don't want to cover it with more soil than is the diameter of the seed. So I take a leaf rake, and what I do is just kind of pat it in like this, and then you can rake it and drag a little soil. Now this is larger seed here, you got to be a little more aggressive, and you'll notice that most of that seed is being buried, but very lightly, very lightly. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to water it in, and you will see that when we put the water on it, that it kind of consolidates the soil together, and that will further bury that seed. And we're going to, get the soil nice and wet, not too wet, but you don't see any lettuce seed there to speak of, because it's been perfectly covered, and this water has got it where the soil has consolidated over it, and it's really in good shape. Now to get this to germinate, you want to keep it damp, so I water it every day. Now if it's hot weather, I may actually cover it with row cover, and that's what this is. This is spun-bond polyester. And what I do is I make a little hoop out of this ladder wire, which I get from a building supply. You can see it here. And I cut it in 4-foot lengths, make my little hoop over it like this. And then if it's going to be hot, I can cover it in this spun-bond polyester and protect it from the sun. This is also good if you plant it very early, say in February, and you want to protect it from freezes or heavy frost. This will do it too. You just put it over, put a brick on either side, and you've got good coverage. You can get protection from the hot sun or for protection from very cold weather. So that's how you do it. In about 5 days, these will come up, and right back here, I've got some arugula that has come up, and you see I've got a pretty good stand, not too thick, and this is like a week out of the ground, and this is exactly what you want. A little bit of fertilizer on that, keep it watered, and you'll have a nice crop of greens there in about 3 weeks. So there's no reason you can't do it. Plant it in the spring, plant it in the fall. It'll taste good, and it'll come from your garden.